Today, I'm going to be teaching y'all how to do this crazy blowout taper haircut transformation. I'm Jay Blends. If you're new to the channel, y'all make sure to go ahead and subscribe. We do all videos barber content wise. We do clipper challenges, haircut tutorials, as well as vlogs. So let's go ahead and get into this. To start off this haircut, I'm going to use my Tomb 45 trimmer, and we're going to go ahead and create our first bald line. We're going to do this starting at the tip of the eyebrow and following it to the ear. After that, we're going to go in with our Babyliss FX UV foil shaver, and we're going to go ahead and bald him out completely. Be careful as you go up to the top of this. You want to be a little lighter with the foil shaver so that you don't create too harsh of a guideline to blend out. After that, we're going to go in with our Tomb 45 clipper with the lever open, which means that the lever is all the way down, and we're going to create about a 1/4 inch guideline. Notice how this guideline is following the exact same shape as the last guideline, and it kind of has a little arc to it. I feel like this helps achieve the blowout look with the taper fade. After that, we're going to go in with our 1.5 guard, and we're going to create our second guideline. This one's going to be about 1 inch wide. Notice how I'm flicking out the clipper as we go up. This is going to help us blend into the bulk and not create too harsh of a guideline. After that, I'm going to go in with some clipper over comb just to debulk a little bit. When I go in with the fade comb, notice how I'm tilting the comb out. That means I'm taking less hair off and I'm not digging straight into his bulk. A question that I've been asked a lot is what guards do I use? I have a Tomb 45 1.5 guard, and then I use a Stylecraft / Gamma magnetic guard for my half guard and for my 3 guard. Within my fading process, I only use 3 guards, so I only use the half, 1.5, and the 3 guard, and then everything else is clipper and clipper over comb. I feel like this helps to achieve a quicker haircut and a more efficient haircut, so I'm not wasting time switching out guards, but you do have to do a lot of lever play and a lot of corner work. So now we're going to go ahead and go in with that half guard, and we're just going to do some lever play right here. We started with the lever closed, but as we work our way up in the fade, we're going to go ahead and open up that lever, which means we're putting the lever back down. A fully closed lever means that the lever is all the way up. Now we're going to go in with our clipper with no guard on, with the clipper all the way closed, and we're going to hit that bottom line that we created earlier. Doing this, we're going up about 1/4 of the way through that first guideline, and we're just using our corners. Notice how I'm not using the full blade right here. This is super important, especially when doing a blowout taper fade like we are here. After that, we're going to go ahead and put the lever about halfway, and we're going to work our way up that guideline, and then we're going to fully open that lever, and we're just going to corner play this. Some advice that I would have for a beginner is to not be too rough with the clipper. You want to be light with your hands and let the clipper do the work for you. Now we're going to go ahead and slap that half guard back on and just do some detail work here. At this point in the fade, every line is blended out, but there are some dark spots left, and we're going to go ahead and work those out with the detailing process. This is one thing that can be pretty confusing, especially as a beginning barber. A lot of people don't have their barber eye built up yet, or you don't see those dark spots that the barber with experience will see. And this is why we do a lot of haircuts. We watch haircuts, watch tutorials, and just do a lot of reps. Now we're going to go in and touch up that C-cup. Notice how I started at the corner of the C-cup, and I'm combing it out and brushing it down. And then we work our way down the C-cup. Notice how I'm not pushing him back like crazy. And I'm also going to go ahead and go in and line up right around the ear so that when we do the neck taper later, it's easy to connect the sides into the back. We also want to make sure that we're not pushing this back like crazy. When you're working around the ears, make sure to pull the ear back and be light with the trimmer. Most people's ears have really sensitive skin, and you don't want to cause any redness or potentially cut your client. I'm going to go back in and touch up that bottom bald line with the trimmer. A lot of people struggle with blending out that initial bald line from the shaver to your fade. If you go back in with the shaver and slightly tap it, or if you tap it with your trimmer, that'll help you to blend it out. Now I'm just going to go ahead and go in and blend into some of the bulk with my 3 guard. This is a blowout taper fade, so notice how I'm not going straight off the side of the head. We're just blending right into it, and we're flicking the clipper out. This is what's going to help give us that blowout effect. One thing that most people don't realize about a blowout taper is it's about more of the style on the top of the hair and blending into that than the style of taper on the side. The blowout look just refers to the hair being messy and textured on the top and having some volume to it. But you still want to preserve some of that length on the sides of the fade so that you can have this blowout look. Now we're just going to go ahead and go in and do some last minute detailing here, and then we'll go ahead and start on the second side. Now that we're on the second side of the fade, we're going to go ahead and follow the exact same fading process that we did on the first side. Starting with the Tomb 45 trimmer, we're going to go ahead and create that initial bald line. Notice how it's curved like I mentioned earlier. It's not just a straight line. I feel like this just gives a little spice to the fade. Now we're just going to go ahead and go back in and bald him out. Notice how I'm being light with that shaver like we talked about earlier. We don't want to create too harsh of an initial guideline. Now we're going to go ahead and create our first initial guideline with the clipper, and notice how we're just making that like a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch wide. And once again, notice how I'm using the corners of the clippers. I can't emphasize this enough, especially when doing a taper fade. Now we're going to go ahead and slap on that 1.5 guard and go ahead and debulk the sides of the hair. I do have the lever closed this time. I feel like on the other side when initially doing it, the lever was open and it left the hair a little bit darker. So we're going to go ahead and close that lever up, and now we're just doing some clipper over comb. Another tip I'd recommend is notice how we use a white comb and we're cutting black hair. This is so you can see what you're actually cutting with the comb. If I have a black fade comb and I'm cutting black hair, it's kind of hard to see what we're missing with the fade comb, and we just want to be cutting what's sticking straight outside of the comb. If you're still in the video at this point, y'all go ahead and let me know down in the comments below if y'all have any questions in the fade thus far, or if y'all have any haircut recommendations or tutorial recommendations that y'all want to see more of. Now we're going to go ahead and slap on that 1/2 guard. Once again, we're starting with the lever halfway closed, and we're going to close it up, and then as we move up in this fade, we're going to open the lever. When the lever's closed, you're cutting more hair. When the lever's open, you're cutting less hair. As we move up in the fade, we obviously want it to be a little bit darker, so we want to cut less hair, and that's why we go ahead and open up that lever. If you're a barber or you cut hair, y'all let me know what clippers y'all are rocking with. I've really been rocking with these Tomb 45 clippers. The clipper and the trimmer hit for me. I like that they show the battery life on them. I also really like how the trimmer is a little lighter and it's kind of slim. It makes it super easy to do designs and edge ups with. It also makes doing the mustache edge up pretty easy. Now we're just gonna go in and do the exact same process that we did on the other side and hit it with some details at the end. Once again, we're going to go ahead and edge up this C cup. Notice how I'm starting at the top and working my way down, and I'm not pushing them back like I mentioned earlier. I know I touched on it briefly earlier, but I do only use 3 guards within my fading method. I feel like I still get blurry fades this way, and it's pretty efficient. As a barber, I do my haircut appointments at 30 minutes and haircut and beard at 45 minutes. I feel like this gives me just enough time to give out a super crispy and blurry fade without rushing the client, but I'm also not having the same people sit in my chair for hours on end every day and wasting people's time. Obviously, a 30-minute blend is not going to be as crispy as the hour-long or hour-and-a-half long enhanced blend that you see on Instagram, but not every barbershop haircut is an Instagram quality haircut, and that's one thing that I feel like a lot of beginning barbers get caught up on, is you think that your haircuts have to look exactly like what you see on YouTube or Instagram, but just know that most of your clients have no idea what that stuff is, and they couldn't tell you what a line and a fade is, they couldn't tell you what a dark spot is. They just want to make sure that everything looks right. Every once in a while, you'll have your people that come in and want crazy designs and the enhancements and everything like that, and that's okay, but not every barbershop client is going to be like that. Everybody wants something different. Everybody has a different lifestyle, and the Instagram quality haircuts aren't what everybody wants for their lifestyle. Don't get me wrong, you still want to be super detailed as a 30-minute barber, and it does take some time to cut your service down to 30 minutes. One thing that really helped me cut my time down in the haircuts was, one, reducing the amount of guards that I use and do a lot more clipper over comb and some freehanding, but also just keeping your station organized and knowing exactly where every tool is every single time that you turn around. A lot of barbers are super unorganized. This causes more time looking for equipment, and then you get stuck there looking at equipment instead of cutting hair. That's just a simple trick that I learned to go ahead and reduce my haircut times as a barber.
He's like
Now we're going to go ahead and start the neck taper. We're going to do the exact same steps that we did on the sides and the back. We're just applying this to the very back of the head. We're going to go ahead and go in and do our first initial guideline with the trimmer. One thing I can say about the neck is some people's necks are super sensitive, so if you have a zero gap trimmer, I'd be careful with using this on the neck, and if you do have one, I would just be super light. Now we're going to go ahead and go in with our clipper, once again creating about a 1/2 inch guideline on that first guide. One thing on the back of the head that you need to be careful about as well is that the blend is a little bit darker. It's not as light on the back as it is on the side, so you might have to close up the lever more often on the back of the head, or you may have to go ahead and stretch those guidelines out just a little bit more. If you're a barber and you cut hair, you're going to understand this, and if you're a beginning barber and you think that your fades on the back look too compressed or that they're super dark, then go ahead and stretch out those guidelines and close up that lever a little bit more. This generally happens because there's more follicles of hair per square inch on the back of the head than there is on the side, so it makes your fades appear a little bit darker. Right here, we're just doing a little bit more clipper over comb work, blending into the bulk on the sides. Notice how I pulled the ear back right there to go ahead and dig into the sides of the head right there. I didn't necessarily want to use a guard length on the sides. I just want to go ahead and blend in the neck taper into the side of the head. We do want to preserve some length, like I said. We want to preserve some of the bulk on the back because this is a blowout taper fade. Now we're going to go ahead and slap that half guard on, and we're going to go ahead and start creating this fade. Another thing that I've noticed that a lot of beginners don't do is you don't have a fade brush or a comb in your left hand. If you're a right-handed barber, you obviously have your clipper there, but you always want to have something in your left hand while you're cutting. It's either a comb or a brush. You want to make sure that you're cleaning your clients off consistently and that you're brushing or combing the hair down, because obviously we are cutting against the grain of the hair, which means that the hair follicles are going to be lifted up, and you want to make sure you're brushing them down so you get the actual look of the fade. Now we're going in with no guard, and we're just going to go ahead and start blending everything in from the skin to the fade. Notice how we're still using the corners even though we are on the back of the neck. We can get away with using a little bit more blade here, but right now we're just trying to hit those dark spots in the corners, so we're going to use the corner of our clippers to do that. Now we're going to go ahead and go in and create the taper lines on the neck. Once again, like I said earlier, you want to let the clipper do the work here. You don't want to dig into your client's neck too much, or they're going to get red or they're going to get bumps right there. And notice how we're just going to connect that into the arch that we created around the ear earlier. I told y'all guys this makes it super easy to go ahead and connect the back of the taper in with the sides. And notice how we're pulling the ear back, and we're going to clean up every little hair that's around the ear. A lot of barbers forget to do this step right here. They leave hair around your ears, and a lot of clients notice that. The more that you can be detailed with stuff like that, the more of a chance that you have to bring in more clientele. And once again, we're going to go ahead and do the same process on the other side of the neckline. Now that both sides have been lined up, you can really start to tell that this blowout taper fade is coming together, but we need to go ahead and do some last minute details, and then we're going to get into the shear work.
A lot of new barbers started and like content went crazy.
We're going to go ahead and do some shear work. This client particularly wanted about a 1/2 inch off the top with some texture to get that blowout effect. To start out with, we're going to go ahead and fully saturate the hair. It's going to make sure that we can get some tension on the hair when cutting it so that we can cut everything to an even length. Notice how I'm also combing through the hair when we spray the water bottle. This is going to make sure that every hair gets evenly saturated with some water. To do this trim, I'm going to go ahead and start with the back, and we're going to go ahead and do some vertical sections right there. This is going to help to reduce a little bit of the bulk and also add some layers on the back of the head. This is also going to serve as our initial traveling guideline to the top of the hair. Notice how we're connecting the top into the back right here, and we're just going to go ahead and cut that 1/2 inch off. Now that we're cutting off a little bit off the top, notice how I'm point cutting. I'm using the very tip of my shears, and we're just cutting an even length across, but we're using the tip of our shears to point cut because this is what will add some texture and give you that blowout look. Notice how I'm resting my shear on the index finger of my left hand, and we're just using the cutting blade to point cut. This will help us reduce the amount of times we cut our fingers. I feel like a lot of beginning barbers, they just go in chopping down, and they're not resting that back of the shear on their hand, and they just start chopping up their fingers as well as the client's hair. If you're a beginning barber or if you're in barber school, I can't stress enough how much you need to learn shear work. A lot of times people won't teach you this in barber school, and obviously it doesn't look as cool as the blurry fades, but it's essential, especially if you want to work in the barber shop. Now I'm going to go ahead and go in with my little blow dryer, and we're just going to dry up this hair to see what it looks like with this length, and we're also going to style it a little bit. If you have time within your service, don't let your client leave with wet hair or unstyled hair. Just go ahead and style it for them. After that, we're going to use our 245 straight razor with the Astra blade, and we're going to go ahead and do some detailing around the C-cups. Notice how I'm pulling the skin back in the opposite direction of which we're cutting. If you don't do this, you risk the chance of giving your client razor bumps or potentially cutting them. One thing when you're cutting the top of the hair is you want to have some tension with the hair there, but you also want to have some tension with the skin when you're using the razor blade. And now we're just going to go ahead and follow up and do the same thing on the opposite side C-cup. This really helps the C-cup have a little pop to the edge right there without adding any enhancement, and it also gives your client a sense of security that you're doing a little extra detail. Once again, we have a little extra time within the service, so we're going to go ahead and hit some extra details throughout this haircut just to make sure that everything's popping. I finished this haircut in about 20 minutes, and so we had an extra 10 minutes to go ahead and get some detail in before the next client came in. This is where we can really perfect everything and make sure that everything's popping for the client. So y'all go ahead, sit back, relax, and watch me detail this cut.
shot glass, smoking let my mind fall. Plenty roaches, no ash, stepping on the critters, jitters going through my spine. Should be used to a state of a poor man's mind. It's just PB no J, Kool-Aid no sugar, boiling the bath water for warm showers in winter. Work cooking, she clean. Mama was a magician, she switched it and turned the tub to.
Now that we're done detailing this cut, we're going to go ahead and clean up the client's neck hairs. Once again, be light with your trimmer. You don't want to cause any red or irritation on your client's neck, especially right before they leave the shop and you show them their haircut. Also, make sure that you're cleaning up every little hair. A lot of barbers neglect this part of the process. Make sure you're getting everything behind the ears. Once again, this just gives your client an extra insurance that you're taking care of them and that you care about details within their haircuts. I can't tell you how many times I walked out of the barbershop as a kid and had neck hairs or ear hairs sticking out, and this is one thing that I could not stand as a client.
Pointing pistols in classes, I smell fear and a smile, hit a pain and a laughter. Focus is hocus pocus when brokers a joke. So dope is the locust that's eating when pockets low. Sense don't make sense where I'm from. I use my 6 cents, that's the hustle real hard. Consciousness don't pay rent, and I won't sleep on pay.
We're also going to go ahead and follow up with the foil shaver on everything, just to make sure that everything's smooth and that every line is crisp and that it is popping. This also gives you some extra time in between haircuts for your clients, and this helps the fade come out just a little bit blurrier. Once again, be light with the shaver when doing this step. Now we're going to go ahead and spray some of the aftershave or the alcohol. I use the level 3 Frost aftershave cologne. This one smells like Dior Sauvage, if you know what I'm talking about. Make sure to do this after every haircut. Now y'all check out this crazy transformation, man. This is a clean blowout taper fade right there. This client was super satisfied with the haircut and it fits his style. If y'all guys have any questions or comments, y'all make sure to go ahead and leave them down below. And if you haven't already, y'all make sure to subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Right now, I'm on the road to trying to get this channel to 10K subs and reaching monetization as well, so anything would help. I appreciate y'all guys for watching, and I'll catch y'all guys in the next one.
Brand, but it been so long. If you in the sky and not just in my thought, when no one else